Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the rest of 2021. I already did a rest of the year reading, and guess what? I'm going to do another one after this too. But this one is going to be, we're going to do a Celtic cross. I felt inspired to do a Celtic cross, and we're going to do a Celtic cross for the just like the most important thing that you need to hear at this time for the rest of the year. So that's what we're going to do, Gemini, and these are going to be relatively quick readings. They're not going to be long and drawn out here, Gemini. So let's see what we have for you here, Gemini. And all right, Gemini, you start off with the Magician as your center card here. We see a lot of new beginning energy here in your reading. You have the World, even the Wheel of Fortune, kind of could be a new beginning. So I do feel there is a new beginning coming in for a lot of you here with this card. I feel like some of you are just continuing a cycle with the Magician here, but it's like, you are coming at it from, the way that I'm seeing this reading is I feel like you are continuing a cycle, but you're coming at it from a different point here, or you're coming at it from a different point of view. So this has a little bit of those feelings of Groundhog's Day, which I feel like people have been feeling for about 2 years now. It's a collective energy, basically, and we're dealing with it because it's like several things that are going on in the astrology where it's like Groundhog's Day. It's like I feel like the universe is just keeps bringing us to a point where it's like, okay, are you gonna wake up now? Are you gonna get started now, or are we gonna like replay this game? So I don't know that we've reached critical mass yet. For I feel like we have to reach a certain percentage before, I don't think there's going to be some sort of awakening where everybody's just like, oh my God, I'm awake. But I do feel like there's going to be a point where it's like maybe we get unstuck or things start moving forward. So it's almost like you're coming at something from a different place here. So if you feel like you're repeating a cycle, I feel like you are. The difference is this right here, the Wheel of Fortune, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And this is really good. I'm really happy to see the Wheel of Fortune here, especially with the World card as well. It's weird that I did this in the wrong order. I just read, I go intuitively. So even if I lay the cards out and I forget to like put the card here for the near future, and I go here first, I go with my intuition. I go with whatever my hands do. So, I think it's no mistake that it happened this way. And what I would say here is I love that the Wheel of Fortune is here. Even if I did put it in the right place, it still, I would feel the same way about the reading. And to me, it would mean the same thing as well. So it's not really changing the meaning, but definitely a new beginning of something that you've been doing in general. Your crossing energy here is the King of Wands. For a lot of you, I do feel like this could be an authoritative person that you feel is holding you back, or overcoming authority is kind of popping into my head for some of you. For others, I feel like having the energy, I totally get it, Gemini. Like having the energy. I think, the best way I could describe what I'm feeling off of this card is it's like I was here years ago with this crossing feeling where it's like you try to do something so many times and things don't work so many times. You're like, if I do this one more time and it doesn't work, I'm going to snap, right? I feel like some of you are there where you're like, how many more times? It's like, I think there's understanding, not giving up and, continue to try, but then you start to feel insane at a certain point, right? That's the best way I can describe the energy I'm feeling here, where it's like, okay, I understand that I shouldn't give up on this project or on this cycle or on this, finding love or whatever it is for you, Gemini. It's like, I feel like on a very deep level, you understand that. But at the same time, I feel like you're starting to say, but like, when is there a breakthrough? When do the cracks appear? So I feel like motivating yourself, it could be a little bit of a challenge here with the King of Wands. I would say don't give up just yet. There's another sign, I don't remember who, where their reading was pretty much all about like not giving up, but it was much deeper than just perseverance. It wasn't like just 9 of Wands, perseverance. It was much deeper than that. I get a very similar feeling for you where I really feel this is kind of like this reading is like the universe saying, keep going, even though you're repeating a cycle. I kind of feel like you're in it. I feel like you're repeating this cycle right now. In the area of your thoughts, you have the Four of Swords. I feel like you just want to break from the madness, right? End the madness, as they say. And I feel like you're hoping for even some blessings as well to show up. So you're just basically hoping for a victory, or you're hoping to reach a point where there is a victory here with this Four of Swords. In the area of your foundation, love it, you have the Six of Wands, so there's definitely a victory coming in for you here. I feel that you are kind of focused on the world as well. The wreath right here is similar to the wreath right here on the world card. So I feel like you're very focused on accomplishing something. I do feel like you're starting to get some of that like driven, motivated energy back with this card as well. I also feel like sometimes, if we get to a point where we've like tried to be successful at something for so long, like if you've been trying to find love and it's just failure after failure after failure, I feel like we get that pissed off for greatness, as I call it. I think it's, there's a famous football player who has like a motivational speech. I can't remember his name ever. And so sorry to whoever that person is, but he talks about being pissed off for greatness, and that's like the 6-1. Sometimes I think we get to this point where it's like we do go insane, we do snap, but maybe it's a good thing because it's like the thing that motivates us to be super successful. In the past, you have the 5 of Swords here. I feel like in the past, maybe you were willing to win at all cost here. I do feel also that you have kind of reached this point right here, which again kind of reminds me of pissed off for greatness. There's a couple of ways to read the 5 of Swords, and one way you could read it is that all 3 people on the card are the same person at different stages of a battle. In the past, he just gives up, he's crying, he's got his head in his hands, all the way back here. Next, sorry, my camera's reversed. Next, this guy, he is just like walking away from battle, but his head is still kind of like held high, even though he has lost. And then this guy here, he just always wins, basically. But there is a negative side to him, don't get me wrong. He wins at all costs. He's willing to lie, cheat, steal, do whatever. But at the same time, in your reading, I'm kind of reading him as more pissed off for greatness. I feel like he's just going to be successful no matter what. Even in the area of your near future, we have the world. Clearly a victory coming in for you here, Gemini. I kind of feel like you're getting to this new stage of the cycle. I would say don't be afraid to repeat a cycle here, especially with this Wheel of Fortune. We're about to talk about it. Very good. But what I would say here is I feel like you're about to accomplish something great with the World card. I feel like you're finally getting to the end of whatever this cycle is. Again, over the next few months, you have the Wheel of Fortune. As I always say, there are a couple of places where you can end up on this wheel. You can end up on the outside of the wheel, right, where it's just like you're just spinning around the wheel and you have no control, or you can end up like at the very center of the wheel where the wheel spins around you, and that's where you truly can control what happens in your life. I kind of got the feeling immediately when I put this Wheel of Fortune down that you are kind of taking control of your destiny. I feel like you have been, whatever cycle you could be repeating or whatever Groundhog's Day thing you're going through, as I've been saying for a while, I feel like you're finally going through it again, but it's like the last time, or you're taking control here with the Wheel of Fortune by going to the center of the wheel. It's like you're, being at the center of the wheel, it's like things change around you. This circle and then the next circle on the inside as well, is spinning around you, but it's like you're more kind of rolling with the punches. You're going with the changes. And I just felt something touch me on my left arm here, weird. But anyway, what I would say here is it's like you're more willing to kind of like go with the changes. You're more willing to kind of roll with the punches with the Wheel of Fortune. I do feel like there's a change in your destiny in the sense that you're finally like taking control of your destiny as well. Next, in the area of your close relationships, you have the Moon card. This could be love, could also be any type of relationship in your life at all. And the Moon is a little bit unclear. I would even say with this 5 of Swords coming up over here, if we were to take away all the meanings of all the positions here, Gemini, we could just say that this 5 of Swords could be a card of like needing to socialize, needing to open up to people around you. And I do get that feeling here. Some of you could be a little unclear about your close relationships, or a little uncertain, a little fearful even of your close relationships, like who do I trust, who can't I trust, all these things, right? So I feel for some of you there could be some fears as far as your close relationships are concerned. I actually think your answer here is pretty simple with the Moon card. I feel like you just need to stay focused towards the world, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, whatever goal it is that you're trying to achieve. The 2 dogs here, or the dog and the wolf, dog and coyote, whatever you want to call it, it's like they are trying to they're like kind of warnings to the Fool on the path, but they could also be trying to get him off the path, right? So I feel like as long as you have like a why, or a goal or something to work towards, I feel like you need to allow that to be your guide, right? And as far as your close relationships are concerned, as long as people are coming in the position of support, then, allow them into your life. If they're trying to drag you off the path with fear or anything else, then I would not listen to those people. I mean, we are definitely in a time where I feel like there is a lot of, fear that is controlling people. So I wouldn't, listen to anything that is coming from a place of fear with the moon. The other thing I like to remind people of with the moon is if you're getting advice from like family members or whatever, if you have a goal that you're trying to achieve, or friends even, if they are giving you advice and they have never done whatever it is that you are trying to do, you probably shouldn't listen to them, right? So that's what I'll say there. It's like when I first started my businesses, when I was younger, it's like I got all this advice from all these people that had never done anything. I didn't listen to them, and that was a good thing, by the way, because their advice was garbage, basically. And that's what I would say here. It doesn't mean that you can't be friends with these people. I would just say if you're getting advice from a person who has never done something, you can listen to it and maybe say, it's kind of good, but I would be careful of like taking it in because it's probably bad advice. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Seven of Swords. Again, fierce, lone wolf energy here as well. Your outcome is the Three of Pentacles. Literally, teamwork. Allowing people to help you, working on a team would be a good idea. So I'd say don't try to do things on your own. I would also say be careful of taking things too seriously. He has polka dots on his shirt. He's also wearing this red fez, the hat, right? And both of these things kind of represent needing to not take things too seriously, needing to realize that things are probably either not as bad or not as good even as they seem. But it kind of represents needing to add a little bit more play, needing to be a little bit more playful in life, needing to be a little bit more free, needing to do some more things that you enjoy. So, I feel like it would be a good idea. Even like me, like I work nonstop, and this is not the only thing I do, right? And I have other businesses and things that I do. And so I work constantly. I love working. I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart. But even recently, I've been like watching just like mindless movies and things like that at night for like a little bit of time instead of just like working all night just to get out of my head, right? And I feel like sometimes the Seven of Swords, it kind of tells us that. It kind of says like, hey, you should probably, take some time to just zone out because we get answers when we zone out. When we're not always, being concentrating super hard. So, that's another part of the Seven of Swords. I would also pay attention as well with the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, he's trying to make things perfect, but it's impossible. He's carrying these 5 swords, and there's still 2 swords behind him. He's taking these swords from an army that is over here. And it kind of represents the fact that you can't make things, you can never make something perfect. It's like if you're trying to start a business, he could be like trying to start it, but he's like trying to get all the pieces in place before he starts it. Impossible. It's like just get started. Same thing in love as well. It's like he's trying to do every little thing that he possibly can to create a successful relationship with a person before it's even started. It's impossible, right? We have to go through the experience. And that's kind of like what I feel like the Seven of Swords is saying to you. And finally, you have the Three of Pentacles here as your outcome. I feel like you will be working with other people. Look, this person has on the same robe as this Seven of Swords guy right here. So I do feel that a lot of you will open up to working with other people. I kind of am taking this as a little bit of a warning here. I would be careful of, like, again, the advice that you take from other people or the things that other people say to you here. I also feel sometimes that the Three of Pentacles, really good card. It's a card of quality work. He has done a good job, but there's still more that needs to come down to earth. Like, he's done the work, but he needs to, like, show it off. He needs to put it out into the world. I get that for you here, Gemini. Like, don't be afraid to show off. Don't be afraid to, put your work out into the world, right? So it's like something needs to be exposed here to the world. I would say, especially if you're like working on a personal project, a business, anything like that. I feel like something needs to kind of come out here, Gemini. I just want to clarify a couple of these cards here. I want to clarify the world in your near future, the star. Love it. Definitely like a wish or wish fulfillment coming in for you here with the world. Amazing. With the Wheel of Fortune here, you have the Two of Swords. Yeah, I would just make the decision to take control of your destiny, take control of the wheel. The Two of Swords, she is sitting where she has always been. The answer with the Two of Swords is to go somewhere new, to try something new. So again, if you're on this repetitive cycle, to get to the center of the wheel, the Two of Swords just basically says try new things. Pretty obvious, I would say. Even, look looking at the astrology, to me, the astrology very much reminds me of the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords basically says there's only one way to do things. And, she thinks on the Eight of Swords there's only one way to do things. And so, according to Chris's crappy astrology here, what I would say is if I were to take the astrology as a whole, I would say Eight of Swords. We're all looking at things as only one way, when there's probably like multiple ways to accomplish our goals. There's probably multiple solutions as well. That's the other thing as well. I think that, the astrology is, I feel like, making people like focus on restrictions for obvious reasons, right? But it's pulling people away from solutions, and I feel like there are better solutions to many of the issues that we're dealing with than creating like laws, for example, right? But in your own personal life, I would be thinking like, what's a new way to do whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. In the area of your relationships, you have the Chariot here, so I do feel like you'll be victorious in your relationships. I do feel like it's time to get started on relationships as well, or allowing people to help you, basically. I do want to clarify that Seven of Swords as well. Yeah, Nine of Swords, I feel like you're worrying too much about the past with the Seven of Swords and Nine of Swords. Maybe you've been tricked a lot in the past. Maybe you've been hurt a lot in love in the past. And this Nine of Swords kind of says, get out of your head. And with the Three of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. Again, happy home, happy family. Teamwork makes the dream work. I say it about, like 900 times a week, basically, in these readings. So I love it. I feel like fortune after difficulty with that is basically your answer here. Looks amazing. Very positive new beginning as well. So thank you for being here, Gemini. Looks really good. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time, Gemini. But thank you, and definitely enjoy the rest of the year.